Welcome to Infidelity, the place where we explore those critical, often painful turning points that reshape our lives and redefine who we are. If you believe in the profound power of personal growth and the enduring resilience of the human spirit, please take a moment to subscribe and hit that notification bell. You won't want to miss the journey we're about to share. Today, we have a deeply personal and courageous story about a man who turned a moment of profound hurt into a catalyst for incredible inner strength. Before we begin, we'd love to hear from you in the comments. Have you ever experienced a moment, perhaps a single sentence, that made you reevaluate everything about yourself or your relationships? Now, let's step into Michael's story. I never in a million years imagined hearing those words come from Sarah's mouth, from my wife's mouth. I was utterly exhausted, dragging myself home after a long, grueling day at the architecture firm in Columbus, Ohio. The kind of day where your body feels like lead, your mind is a relentless racetrack of 1,000 little worries, and all you crave, all you desperately want, is to step inside the sanctuary of your home and let the world outside just disappear. I was hoping for something simple, maybe a genuine smile, a touch of warmth, some small comfort. But what I caught instead as I quietly opened the front door was far from comforting. I heard her laughter, light and carefree, drifting from the living room. At first, a small part of me relaxed. Maybe she was on the phone with her sister, sharing a harmless joke. But then the words sliced through the air, clear, sharp, and brutally, devastatingly directed at me. "Honestly, he can't even last 5 minutes in bed anymore," she said, her voice followed by a chuckle, as if it were the most amusing observation in the world. The words hit me like a physical blow, a freight train derailing inside my chest. I stopped dead in my tracks, my hand still frozen on the doorknob, my breath snagged somewhere in my throat. It wasn't just the insult itself, deeply emasculating as it was the way she laughed while saying it. The casual, almost gleeful cruelty of it made my heart twist into a painful, sickening knot. For a long, suspended moment, I just stood there, paralyzed, listening, unable to move, unable to speak. The familiar warmth of our home felt suddenly colder, the walls seeming to press in on me. My mind raced, a chaotic jumble of 100 stabbing questions. How long had she felt this way? Who was she talking to, sharing this intimate, contemptuous ridicule? Did she actually mean it? My first instinct was to storm in, to confront her, to demand an explanation. But I didn't. I didn't want to explode or beg for her validation or desperately try to make her see me differently. I knew with a gut-wrenching certainty that if I did, it would only create an even wider, perhaps irreparable chasm between us. Instead, with a heavy heart, I turned away silently and slipped into the downstairs bathroom, closing the door softly behind me. There I sat on the cold edge of the tub, the harsh, unwelcome reality settling over me like a dense, suffocating fog. I let myself feel the hurt, the deep, gnawing ache of rejection and profound humiliation. But beneath that crushing weight of pain, something else, something unexpected, began to stir. A quiet, steely determination. A resolve I hadn't felt in years. If she thought I was weak, if this was her perception of me, then I would show her. No, I would show myself what true strength really meant. The next morning, I didn't say a word about what I'd overheard. I didn't launch into accusations or demand an explanation. My pain was my own, and so I decided would be my response. Instead, I started with small, almost imperceptible steps, changes that no one, not even Sarah, would likely notice right away. I began going to bed earlier, prioritizing my rest, ensuring my body had a chance to recover from the long days. I overhauled my diet, consciously cutting out the processed junk food and empty calories that had slowly, insidiously worn me down over the years. I found my old, dusty running shoes tucked away in the back of the closet, and despite a wave of self-consciousness, signed up at a nearby gym. I felt awkward and completely out of place at first, surrounded by people who seemed to know exactly what they were doing, but I was committed to sticking with it. Those early days weren't easy. The persistent soreness in my muscles was a constant, unwelcome reminder of just how far I had let my physical health slide. The bone-deep exhaustion after work still weighed heavily on me, and some nights the thought of even making it to the gym felt like an insurmountable task. But I pushed through. I kept telling myself over and over that this journey was for me. Not for her, not to win back her approval or change her perception, but for my own self-respect, my own well-being. I didn't boast about the changes I was making, didn't fish for praise or validation. I kept it quiet, diligently tracking my progress in the subtle changes I saw in the mirror, in the slow but steady return of energy, and in a burgeoning sense of inner confidence I hadn't realized I'd lost. And then, gradually, almost imperceptibly at first, I noticed her noticing me. One evening, as we sat down for dinner, a healthier meal I had prepared, she looked at me, a new kind of curiosity in her gaze, and asked softly, "You've been different lately, Michael. What's going on?" I just shrugged and offered a small smile, trying to keep my tone light and casual. "Just trying to take better care of myself, that's all." She nodded slowly, but I caught a flicker of surprise, perhaps even intrigue in her eyes, as if she hadn't expected this version of me, this quietly determined man, to exist. What do you think, listeners? Is it more powerful to make changes for external validation or for your own internal sense of worth? Michael is on a path of quiet transformation, driven by a painful catalyst. It's a powerful moment when we decide to change not for others, but for ourselves. If Michael's journey of self-discovery is resonating with you, please give this video a thumbs up and share it with someone who might find inspiration in his story. We're about to see how these internal shifts begin to impact his relationship. Let's get back to it. Weeks turned into months, and things between Sarah and me started to shift, almost without us consciously trying. The underlying tension that had become a constant, unwelcome guest in our home began to soften, to dissipate. The subtle, often biting sarcasm that had crept into her voice whenever she spoke about me, or to me, started to fade. I could tell she was seeing me in a new light, though she never said anything outright. There was a newfound respect, perhaps, or at least a reevaluation. Then, one night, everything changed. We were alone in the house, the kind of quiet, still evening where the noise of the world outside fades into a distant hum. And it's just you and the person who, for better or worse, knows you best. I put on some music I knew she loved, something slow and familiar from earlier, happier times in our relationship, and I dimmed the lights, creating a soft, intimate ambiance. I took my time. I didn't rush. I focused on her, really focused, paying attention to every subtle look, every soft sigh, every almost imperceptible movement. I wanted her to feel cherished, to know that I was present, truly present, that I cared. And in that shared space, something shifted. The invisible walls that had been slowly, painfully building between us for so long seemed to crumble, to dissolve. We connected, truly connected, in a way we hadn't in what felt like an eternity. Afterwards, there were no jokes, no biting remarks, no casual cruelty, just silence. But it was a silence that felt full, resonant, brimming with something new, something real, something hopeful. She looked at me differently that night, a soft, wondering expression in her eyes. And I could tell she was thinking, deeply thinking, about what had changed, about who I had become. I never brought up what I had overheard her say on that devastating phone call all those months ago. And she never mentioned it either. But I knew, with a quiet certainty that settled deep in my bones, that she had stopped laughing at me. And more importantly, far more importantly, I had stopped doubting myself. That night, I didn't just prove her wrong about my perceived inadequacies. I proved something vital to myself. That I could take control of my life, my health, my confidence. That I could be the man, the strong, capable, resilient man I wanted to be, regardless of what anyone else said or thought. And for the first time in a very, very long time, I felt genuinely, profoundly proud. Michael's story is a powerful testament to the quiet strength that can be forged in the crucible of pain. He didn't seek revenge, nor did he crumble under the weight of humiliation. Instead, he embarked on a journey of self-improvement, not for external validation, but for his own intrinsic self-worth. And in doing so, he not only transformed himself, but also, unexpectedly, the dynamic of his relationship. It reminds us that true strength isn't always about loud confrontations or dramatic gestures. Sometimes it's about the quiet, consistent effort we invest in ourselves, the discipline to make positive changes, and the courage to reclaim our confidence from within. The most profound changes often begin silently, with a personal commitment to be better, to be stronger, for ourselves first. And when we honor ourselves in that way, the world around us and the people in it often begin to see us and treat us differently too. Michael didn't just change his wife's perception, he fundamentally changed his own. And that perhaps is the greatest second chance of all. What are your thoughts on Michael's approach? Do you believe internal change is the most powerful catalyst for transforming our relationships and our lives? We invite you to share your wisdom and experiences in the comments section below. Thank you for joining us on Infidelity. If this story touched your heart, please show your support by liking this video, sharing it with your friends, and subscribing for more inspiring narratives. Until next time, may you find strength in your journey and embrace the power of your own transformation.